Hey guys, crazy day, crazy day. IGC, NBEV, TLRY. I mean, I didn't trade TLRY at all, but my God, what a fade. Um, IGC got chopped up in the morning a little bit. Tried short, small size. I wanted to be there, feel the stock, I guess. It's like if I'm putting offers out on if I'm putting shorts out on the offer, I want to feel how quickly they're being swiped and see if there's any issues getting filled. I mean, if I have to chase the offer down to get a fill, that's a good sign. I put on small size here just to feel it out, and I was really starting to base it off of these high volume areas right here. Um, there was a lot of stuffing going on in this 14 area. And then also secondary resistance, this initial spot right here, which on the hourly was a high volume area, this 1379, which is here, 1379. That was also kind of peeking out a little bit. And I got the same signal that I got, I believe it was like, yeah, it was right here. It was last Friday where we came up and it was like a little kind of head and shoulders. This one wasn't perfect and you had to cut through some of the noise. But there was a nice little double top here. We got back below previous highs. And if you kind of just see this trend, that's what I was looking at. And I was risking these areas. I got in starter. There was another stuff on these areas. Added full size and got most of my covers out here towards VWAP. I held out a little bit more, covered the rest here, and accidentally bought some long. I'm experimenting with some new hotkeys. So, I mean, that was a great trade. It really was, especially in hindsight. I missed this move, but what I started doing was focusing more on NBEV because it was kind of lagging behind, so I could keep an eye on my main screen on IGC and then trade NBEV because it was you could see the move on IGC and kind of anticipate that NBEV was going to pull the same thing. Got some feelers in through here, short covers, short, and then took the rest off. Was up pretty nicely. Then midday started getting chopped up. Um, took a loss here, took a loss here. Tried a long, and keep in mind, I mean, this looks like a lot of arrows, but I'm really once again feeling the offers. If I'm putting offers out there and they're getting swiped immediately, I don't go to full size because it's just bad news. But once we saw IGC start coming in this long, I quickly cut because based off this level, I thought it was kind of interesting that we were holding above, but I just didn't have the confidence in it. And ultimately, my bias was on the short side. It really was. Being long up here made me nervous as hell. But once we got below, and once, check this out, this high volume area again, 828. So let's check it out here, 828. We kept stuffing. We could not hold above that area all day. So that was the real area of interest. And then also once we get some of these trend lines, front side, back side. So I traded around the core the whole time, shorted, added, got a lot of covers in, added back, covers, short, covers, and then I got some more in late day. I thought I saw another signal here where we're below VWAP, we're below some primary support levels kind of, and I don't know. I thought maybe we would just see this thing tank. But SSR was on. You couldn't hit the bid, and it was a tough trader. But overall, super profitable. Up pretty nicely in this area. Gave a lot of it back, maybe half to three quarters of it back, and then just crushed it backside. That's why you wait for backside. You can't be impatient. But OGEN was actually the big trade of the day, and this thing was crazy. I mean, it just I had the right read on it. A couple of my buddies were getting short in through this area, and rightfully so. All we're doing is putting in lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. So, you know, I was actually contemplating, and my bias was on the short side because if you're looking at the daily, we're up huge here. It's day three. There was a conference at 1 o'clock, which a lot of times is used as a sell the news event. So I loved the short side on this, but if we're looking at these support levels, um, I noticed, every time we got down here, there was a lot of buying, and it was a combination of maybe people selling and then people hitting the bid because it was easy to borrow. And yeah, I mean, there was some serious soaking at this level, and so I got long, took some off into pops, kept the rest break even, stopped out the break even, and this is actually one of my favorite long patterns. We're up above VWAP. We do a huge crack, and all that happened here. Look at this volume. All that happened here was all these people that stopped out. There was a whale here that scooped it back up. So they soaked everything on the bid, swiped all the offers, got back over. Actually waited for this to crack below the 288 again, and it did by a penny. They scooped it back up, kept soaking. I was pretty confident, and I had a really tight stop. My stop was 286 on this, so I had some decent size on it. And we're getting closer to 1 o'clock, so that was my primary area to get rid of it, and then also flip my biased. So I had 294s this time around, and got the last out around 317s. That was a phenomenal long trade. I was all out. And then I started getting short. Got short near the support, covered a little bit because I saw the soaking going on again, and got short again and was really using this as a guide. But I was in not full size, but as full size as I wanted to be because this has been a very tricky stock to trade. And I let it ride with the stop on this 321, and got some excellent covers in after the crack. Added some more back, cover, added some more covers. This was my best trade because I nailed it both long and short, and I didn't have a single loss on it until, when you see this type of move, we're below VWAP. We had the panic come in. Um, why the hell? And we're at this point when I'm looking at it, I start scaling back in short, short, short. Um, we're still up 60% on the day. And why can't we go red on the day? So I got back up to about half size right here, and then I stopped out. I was like, if we're going to reclaim these areas right here, this 245s, that's actually where my stop was set. I don't want to be in the trade. I mean, there's no reason if this is going to continue fading that we should be revisiting these levels. And then in through here, I was like, okay, maybe we just stuffed. I got punked. I got short again and then covered it up flat. I was like, I don't want to deal with it. This is some crazy shit. Uh, it is not acting the way it should. And in hindsight, it was good. Kept me out of a lot of trouble. That was actually the main gainer of the day. Um, CGC was a really nice one too. I think you guys have seen what I like to do here. We're below these high volume area. That acted as a top. I missed that signal because I didn't technically miss it, but what happened was we were uptrending and I didn't really want to mess with it yet. Um, so I let it break this trend and I got short, risking this pop. And I actually wanted to get in more, but you'll see I was in Facebook pretty heavy. I was in a bunch of positions. I didn't have any buying power, so I didn't get much size here. I made it to 2620s, and that was because these lows were in that 2620s or 4620s area, and we actually closed above it. So I mean, I missed a little bit of downside. I missed a lot of downside, a buck 20. But I think I had the right idea because we were pretty much straight down. I thought we would get a pop. I could re-add based off of these lows or these lows, and it never came. So no big deal, but good trade. Um, IGC was I already pretty much went over that, but that was a nice one. And what else did I have? Oh, yeah, Cron was a bitch. I had the right idea. I nailed this early morning move. Actually, short, added, covered about half, added the half back, stopped out. Uh, Then you've seen we've got IGC, NBEV, TLRY, CGC, everything is going down. So I got in here again and we're hanging on. So this was starter size again. I got stopped out starter size, and since I didn't take any, enough right here, I got short, took some, got stopped out, break even, got short again, and then finally we got like a decent little move, and we still didn't take out the lows. Everything else was taking out the lows. This was not added here, got out the rest. Now I was all done. I was over the stock. It should have cracked, in my opinion, and if you go back and look at, I mean, this is a huge, huge level that we got under. And the reason why I was adding to it was because of this. We've been holding this area for a while now. Look at this. And now we're getting under it, and now we're over it. So tomorrow, that's a big spot for me again. As long as we stay underneath that, I'm going to start adding into it for a nice fade. So I think what'll happen is we'll get some type of gap down, push up, and I'll look to reshort into probably these lower days with risk off of these 80s, 90s area. And Facebook had the right plan. Uh, Tight stop. That was a bad trade. That was just a bad trade. I chased it. Um, and you can't chase Facebook. You have to be there on strength, adding strength, so you can cover this type of weakness. And this one was a better trade right here, and I was really risking. I think I had so many support resistance lines on this chart that it was very muddied, and I eventually went back and looked. And the only thing I needed to do is do what I do normally and look for this high volume 5 minute bar right here and wait for that to tell me what the hell's going on. Because um, shorted underneath it, stopped out, shorted underneath it, and then stopped out before we even retested. And we're below VWAP still, and we failed, and we failed, and then we finally got the move. So, I mean, these were small. I had okay size. I lost 200 bucks overall. But I used too much size. And since I used too much size, I didn't give it the proper room to let the trade work and come to me. And that's going to be the focus for tomorrow. Smaller size, being more patient. This was exactly what I should have been looking for. Let it, you know, fail, break trend. We've got some nice areas. Once we broke trend, we came up, couldn't regain, still below VWAP. Another lower high that you could hit the bid on and risk off of. Tight stop. And it would have been a good little fader. We're below 160s, which is a big spot on the daily. If we open up and hold below these 168.90s, we could see another leg down to 150, in my opinion. So, not going to be a top watch, but I would just like to be more patient with this name, use smaller size, scale in, add to a winner. I think that's a better way to play it rather than doing, a lot of size all at once. So we'll see what's going to happen tomorrow. I'm going in with zero bias on this IGC, on this NBEV, but there's a lot of meat on the bones still. So they're not coming off radar. And I hope everyone had a great day. Um, Beginning of the day was a little tough. I definitely was getting frustrated in the lull area, but if I would have just stepped away and came back after one, I would have came in with a fresh mindset and avoided some of this stuff, and it would have been even better. But at the same time, I couldn't because my thesis was all about this OGEN 1 o'clock presentation. So great day, really, really good day. Sorry that this went a little bit longer, but when there's days like this, there's a lot moving. I got to talk about it. So thank you guys. Have a good one.